And they just wrapped up the funeral of Senator Thad Cochran, and the beautiful service that they had there.
It really was.
The chaplain gave a great homily. I think Patrick Leahy, he was funny.
Oh,
but Patrick, you could tell that they were really, really great friends in what he had to say, especially when he was talking about the white hair and the
white hair. I have to repeat that story because if you did not get to see it, Patrick Leahy, Senator Patrick Leahy said, and he had such that great head of white hair, and he said, and I was envious of it. He said, one time I took him home to Vermont and he met my mother and father, and afterwards my mom said, I like that young man, Patrick. And he said, Mom, he's older than me. And he said, his mother looked at him and said, well, he looks younger and you better take better care of yourself.
Yeah. Well, they're now moving his casket out of the church, and they're going to take it into the hearse, and they'll be heading back to Oxford. That's where he will be buried, in Oxford, Mississippi. But, this was a very nice ceremony that they had, and they're now moving. It was
lovely.
They're moving the casket out of the church, and they will be escorted with procession from here all the way to Oxford, Mississippi. It takes about 3 hours or so for them to get him back home to.
And that's where he will be buried, is in Oxford.
Final resting place in Oxford. And so this has been 3 days. It started in Oxford there at Ole Miss, where they had the visitation. Then he was brought here yesterday to the state capitol for the public.
For a wonderful memorial.
Memorial and public visitation, public viewing there, and then here for the funeral today, where he spent a lot of time attending this church here in Northminster, and so in a beautiful service today. And really, it lasted about 45 to 50 minutes here, and it was a very nice service here.
Very nice. People are starting to leave right now, and again, he will be brought out through the front of the church, and then of course again that motorcade to Oxford.
Exactly. And this is the words that everyone spoke. Everyone spoke for about maybe 10 minutes, and so they kind of to the point, but very nice words that they had to say.
Yes,
with Senator Richard Shelby, and then Patrick Leahy, and then of course the chaplain Barry Black, who's the Senate chaplain, who gave him a very nice homily. And
I think when they said that Mississippi will miss Thad Cochran, but so will the U.S. Senate.
Yeah.
And so again, he was the people's senator.
Right. 10th longest serving senator. Patrick Leahy emphasized the fact that there's only been 2,000 U.S. senators in the United States, and he was the 10th longest serving senator, emphasizing that point and how fortunate and blessed that Mississippi was to have someone of that stature and to serve that long, and kind of the power that he had because he was the 10th longest serving senator, and what that meant for the state of Mississippi and also for the country. And
Senator Leahy also saying that he hoped that this was not the end of an era, but rather the beginning again of seeing change in the Senate.
Exactly. And as we said, we're seeing people starting to file out as they're leaving the service now. They just wrapped up after the homily and the benediction, and as they're now moving.
It was packed, a packed church. Yes, there was overflow room with people also.
Well, we talked to Greg Harper as he was going into the church as the ceremony began, and this is what the former congressman had to say.
Certainly Senator Shelby being here is a special deal as well. But when you think of, look at Patrick Leahy, a Democrat, longtime friend, very different on political views, but they got some great things done together because they were willing to work together. And that's one thing I really learned from Senator Cochran, was the fact that if you wanted to do great things, you better be willing to work with people you didn't agree with all the time, and he was the master at that.
That's right. He did not do things as far as in front of the camera. He did it behind the scenes, and it worked.
Most definitely, and that was probably the most important thing that we've been hearing about all of this so far, this whole last 3 days.
It really has. It's been a wonderful, really 3 days of wonderful tributes to him, and I think we know him better now.
Exactly. And we've had people from all over coming from not only Washington but also here in Mississippi that have been talking and bringing us in. And Adam has been talking to us for the last couple of days from Mississippi Today. And Adam, you were there yesterday. You've been here today. What did you think of the program, and what did you think of the tributes that have been paid so far?
Today was very personal. We saw the personal side. I think yesterday was a lot more political. It almost felt like a political rally. I don't mean any offense to anyone there, but yesterday, you had the governor, lieutenant governor, and the House Speaker, who certainly knew Senator Cochran, but they didn't necessarily know the personal side of Senator Cochran. They didn't know him well. Today we got that personal side. You had everything from the playing of the senator's favorite hymns to his son and daughter going up and reading the scripture to Senator Patrick Leahy, who was a very close friend, and if you saw his eulogy, I think that's pretty clear.